Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois, and this is going to be my review for episode 6 for this season, otherwise entitled Broken Trust. Of course, we've been away from Superman and Lois for about 2 months. They had that long break so they could catch up on making the episodes because they take much longer than a normal network TV show to make. So thank God, or thank the Kryptonian gods that it's back. But of course, spoiler alert, because we're going to be talking about everything that happens in this episode, and there's some big stuff that happens. What a return episode. So, yeah, if you've not watched the episode, go away, come back later on. But if you are continuing on, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions about the episode. What you love, what did you hate, and yeah, just general thoughts, theories, where things are going to go. I'm always curious to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you enjoyed this episode of Superman and Lois, why not drop a like on it to show support for everything. So yeah, even though it's been a while since we've had an episode, we'll just recap the main stuff that leads into this episode. So we have Morgan Edge making his way up in Smallville, gaining more and more people's trust by the day, especially due to how he's sort of rebuilding the working culture of the city. Of course, we had Jordan with his powers, and there's just stuff, sometimes they focus on it, sometimes they don't, but his powers and the development of them are a big thing. But we ended off last episode before the big break with Tag Harris attacking Jordan, and they left us on quite the cliffhanger, and that's exactly what we pick up in this episode. And that is, of course, with Tag attacking Jordan and just like overall questioning him while beating him over the head and bashing him quite, furiously. Just questioning him, like knowing that he was involved with what happened to him due to seeing the video of the event at the mines that happened in episode 1. So Tag, while he's like, okay, I don't know if you're ultimately 100% responsible. I know you're involved. So please tell me what the hell is happening and what you did to me or what role you played in what happened to me. Because Tag's like, he's very fast. He's pretty much the Flash. He's moving incredibly fast, but he's not in full control of his powers. He's still like sort of like having random spasms, if you want to call that, or freakouts with his powers. It's almost like he's on the road to potentially what happened with Derek Powell a couple of episodes ago, and how he pretty much just like combusted due to what was happening. So will that happen with Tag, or will Tag be under more control and surveillance, and they'll be able to just contain his powers due to what happens later on in the episode and where he's going? We'll have to wait and see. But I did love that train sequence where we had like Superman playing, I guess, tag with Tag and trying to catch him. And then when Tag destroys the train tracks or the railroad stuff, just that whole sequence of Superman stopping it and, or fixing it, the whole situation, thought that was really cool. Definitely just an amazing way to open up an episode, especially seeing we've been gone for a while. But yeah, Morgan Edge, as I said, he was sort of like before he left off with his break, he's just been making his way up Smallville, up the chain of command, gaining more and more people's trust. And he just wants to gain all of the trust of Smallville, and he's going to do that through Lana, not Kyle. Left you on a bit of suspense there, but of course, if you watched the episode, you knew that. And that caught me off guard, and it caught Kyle off guard. I'm sure it caught everyone off guard. And it caught Lana off guard as well. She's like, oh, you want to give me a job? Now, Kyle does feel a bit left out, especially after all this campaigning he's been doing for Morgan. Like, Kyle has come across in a lot of different scenes as unlikable because he's supporting this, this figure of Morgan Edge, who we know we should not trust. But, Kyle's behind it because he knows, or at least thinks of the prosperity he can give to Smallville and helping people out, which in the short term, of course it will. It's just like, well, what happens, later on. Now, Lois wants to take advantage of their connection with Morgan to actually gain access to the mines, to see what Morgan is really up to in Smallville. So she's like, hey, Lana, Kyle, you want to help me out? But Kyle is standoffish. He's like, no, like, as I said, like Morgan is, giving people a livelihood at the moment, but that's in the short term. So what's going to happen in the long term? And even Lana has to stand against Lois at that current moment because she sees the positives of what could potentially happen, even if maybe she doesn't like Morgan that much. Now, this was a very big episode for Jordan. We see him suffering with his like super hearing and just his powers in general, but every little thing that makes a sound is like a supersonic screech to him, or is like, if it's on 5 on a volume bar, it turns to 100 for everything. But due to the pain that all this, like these supersonic screech things and his super hearing is doing, it's triggering other powers in him, mainly the heat vision, probably one of the most lethal things that, a Kryptonian, or at least what Jordan can do. Now, one of my favorite scenes in this episode was Clark training Jordan to control his powers. It didn't go for very long, but just the scene in general I thought was really good. Using a tree trunk as a punching bag. And I do love, it wasn't just some, fresh one that, Clark or Superman flew out and just, chopped down with his heat vision or ripped out from the ground. It's one that he used from when he was younger. I love that it's like a legacy thing, if you want to call it. It's like, handing like an old pair of boxing gloves or something to your son or whoever it might be. I love the fact that it's the tree trunk that he trained on as well. And I just loved Clark and John's reaction when Jordan was able to finally like harness his abilities properly and punch that tree trunk and just focus his powers and strength. I just thought that was a great scene. Now the Metropolis versus Smallville football game. We knew that Metropolis like there was the big season trailer they released in regards to like the show coming back. It's a advertisement. We knew Metropolis and their players were going to figure or play a role in an episode, and it was this episode. And Jordan's just like a passenger in that game with his super hearing issues. He can't really do much, and it leads to the quarterback for Smallville being injured. So Jonathan gets a run in the team, and he has some success. But that's thanks to Jordan actually being able to play properly, and he has a period where his powers aren't affecting him. However, he does gloat over the person that he sacked, and that doesn't really sit well with Clark. Now, Jordan is ganged on by the Metropolis players and can't hold in his heat vision. And once again, a great just scene with Clark and Jordan where Clark is like, release them, and he releases his heat vision into the hands of Clark, and you can tell like it's hurting Clark a bit, and it sort of plays into this whole thing about like even though you heal, you can still feel the pain, and you can see that through Clark. I thought that was just a great moment. However, Jordan's not too happy about what's happening with him and just all the hoopla around it, but he needs to understand that there's a reason there's hoopla around it, because if you go crazy and you let these powers out and you don't control them well, people can get hurt, and not just hurt, but they'll die. Now, one partnership I never thought I would enjoy seeing is we see Lois and Luthor, or Marcus. I think it was at Weatherbridge or Waterbridge. I can't remember what the surname he used, but he's going by Marcus, but we know it's Luthor. And they head to the mines where, Morgan Edge is, digging to investigate. We know there's X-Kryptonite there. Now, Luthor is very good at improvising. I did like how he's just able to play off the cuff and get through that, talk to the security guard. I thought Lois was going to, give them off, and I think she does because Leslie Lar's there. So I'm assuming that security guard probably rings Leslie, but like, off screen, because he gives like a weird look. So I'm like, hey, there's some people that went down the mines. Maybe you should come here and just check him out. And then they noticed, or maybe he recognized Lois, something like that. But he seemed a bit off when he looked at Lois. So I'm assuming that he rang Leslie. Now, they do find the X-Kryptonite. However, Leslie Lar finds them. And I thought that scene might have gone on for a bit longer, but Luthor does have his handy weapon, which he was able to get through the rock as well with by using it. But also, it like sends out, like Lois refers to it as like a ray gun, but it almost like replicates heat vision almost, or something like that. But then it knocked out Leslie, so it's like almost like a red sun sort of thing. I'm assuming it's something like that, like a red sun gun, where it can like dampen Kryptonian powers for a bit, something along those lines. Now, one thing I wasn't sure where I was going to lead in this episode is when we have Tag Harris. So he's seen in Metropolis a General Aid, and I thought, oh, okay, he's going to be at the football game or something like that. That's where he's going to show up. However, they flip the script a bit, and he actually shows up in Smallville at the house of Sarah Cushing and takes her back to Metropolis. So he's in Metropolis eventually, but he sort of deviates and goes to Smallville to pick up Sarah. Now, he does show her the footage from the mines, and he, in his words, he just needed to show someone that he trusted, that he, give this information out to. Now, the DOD tried to take out Tag, and Superman gets in the way. He's actually hit with kryptonite in the process, and this led to the oh crap moment was when he just sort of gets, like, he pulls it out, he's like eyes glow red, and he just goes stand down to these soldiers and stuff. I thought that was amazing, an awesome Superman moment. But it's not Superman killing people, or it's Superman showing his power, and his authority as well. But Superman in general, is just like not happy with General Lane at the use of the live rounds. I thought that was a bit excessive. Like, I thought it was like crazy when I saw the kryptonite fly out. I was like, they're trying to take down Superman so they can take out Tag as well. Like, they could potentially kill Superman with that, you'd think. Like, God, I thought it was a bit over the top. And you can just tell, like General Lane just like didn't seem like overly forgiving for it. I was like, okay, a bit odd. Like, it's going to be interesting to see where his character goes this season and who he aligns himself with, because we know that like Luthor's in his back pocket, or known to him and they've talked. So I wonder where that's going to go. Now, one scene I'm interested to see where it leads is when we had those Smallville versus Metropolis football players on the streets, and Jordan tries to punch the jock quarterback guy from Metropolis, but Jonathan blocks it, and he actually Jordan breaks Jonathan's hand and arm in the process due to him blocking it. And obviously, Jonathan's not happy at all with Jordan because, potentially this could be it for Jonathan as a football player, because I think they said like mobility might not be able to get back to it for at least a while at least, which would ruin anything football related for Jonathan. But did anyone else think that Jonathan moved fast? Like, they did it in slow motion, so it's hard to tell. Or maybe it's easier to tell, but it seemed like when Jordan was going to punch, it was moving at a certain rate, and Jonathan's hand up went up really quickly. So I think they were saying that Jonathan had super speed. I only watched that scene once, but that's what it came across. Did anyone catch that? Now, I was actually sort of happy that Lois was suspicious of Luthor in this episode, but he stays silent to not like break his cover and his true intentions. But I do wonder when Lois will learn exactly who he is. Like, maybe she like gives him like a dead end pretty much, or you have to explain yourself now, I'm not working with you anymore. And if he needs to continuously work with Lois to get deeper into what he wants to do, then maybe he'll have to reveal everything. But I do wonder whether he will dish out to Lois what's actually going on. They did tell about they did say he worked at Luthor Corps and then became a journalist, and she thought that was a bit suspicious. But she does tell Clark about her adventures, so Clark knows about what's sort of going on. And I think we're going to see those storylines, have a crossroads at some point. Whether it's in a few episodes or later in the season, we'll have to wait and see. But you have to think there's going to be a crossroads there. Now, we did have Sarah talking to Jordan about her time with Tag Harris and showing the video from the mines to Jordan. And I thought Jordan might have revealed his powers to her, at least just let her know what's going on roughly and just generally what's happening. That didn't happen, so it's probably for a later time, but obviously it doesn't work well with, sit well with Jordan, as we'll talk about in a second in the last scene of the episode. But yeah, maybe Sarah just might see Jordan use his powers. I don't know, I have to wait and see, but she knows there's something going on. She saw Tag's powers, she encountered Superman in a pretty lethal experience. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, Lana plays into it. She's now suspicious of the mines and the activity going down there now due to the experience of Tag Harris and Sarah. And she does ask Lois what's going on. Now, this leads to Lana pretty much joining the team against Morgan Edge and will use her new position to help out with that. And I love the fact that that's what they're doing with Lana, because I think a lot of us were wondering, okay, maybe we can see what they're going to do with Kyle. He's going to be this person that's in line or in support of Morgan. Maybe we'll turn around later in the season. But what are they going to do with Lana? Is she just going to be the person there that's sort of stuck between? Do I support my husband, or do I go against it? And I do love that she's actually going to sort of be working with Lois and I guess potentially Clark as well at a later point against Morgan. I think it's a great way to use Lana on the show, and I can't wait to see what happens there. But the end scene is when we have Jordan opening up to Lois about what's going on, the struggles he's having, withholding stuff from Sarah, and he just starts freaking out to the next level. He's just all over the joint, glowing orange pretty much. Clark's able to scan him, and they just yeah, okay, we've got to go. So we have this awesome scene of Clark flying Jordan to the Fortress of Solitude. Cliffhanger, what's going to go on? Are we actually going to see Jordan sort of is this going to be the next stage? Is he going to be able to, is pretty much being in the fortress going to be, okay, time to train your abilities to the proper level, and we're going to see Jordan have more control on them? Next episode is called Man of Steel. Now, I'm very intrigued to see where that goes. I think they said that we're going to get some Luthor backstory potentially there, but you have to, obviously, based on the cliffhanger, is that Man of Steel thing maybe leaning towards what's happening with Jordan as well? I'm curious. I can't wait to find out. But yeah, overall, this episode I thought was a great return. I sort of forgot what happened last episode. I forgot we left with Tag and everything. So having Tag Harris so involved in the episode, I thought was cool, and just everything with Jordan, how all the Lois and Luthor stuff working together, all worked really well, and it's all sort of connected at the same time as well. Nothing just feels just separated. Everything just feels like it's in a bubble, and it's all going to just sort of slowly get more and more close together as we get towards the end of the season. I can't wait to see how it all eventually connects, but I'm loving what they're doing, and can't wait for next week. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions about the episode. What did you love? Was there anything you hated? I don't know. Just let me know all your various thoughts, opinions, theories. I'm always curious. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.